Senate President Ahmad Lawan, former Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, and Ebonyi State Governor Umahi would not be on the ballot for 2023 elections following the list of candidates released by INEC. Do you feel this is a self-inflicted damage on the part of the aspirants?
Well, I'm just happy for one thing. This kind of abhorrent behavior by Nigerian politicians has to stop. And we are seeing signs that ultimately this bad behavior on the part of Nigerian politicians will stop. You go into a contest. You want to take part in two different primary elections in the same electoral season. Those people who always say they don't like hearing us talk about Senate climbs, they need to listen to themselves. You don't want people to talk about Senate climbs. That means you don't want the progress of Nigeria. Because we can only compare Nigeria to countries that are doing much better. And we can tell ourselves in our hearts that we want to be like those countries that are doing much better than Nigeria. Is this such a bad thing to aspire to be like those countries that are manifestly doing better than Nigeria? Does it happen like that in other countries? The US, France, that somebody will take part in a particular primary election and will still be thinking of going back to contest in another one. I mean, it makes no sense. So they want to eat their cake and have it. There must be a law making it impossible for someone who has taken part in a primary election to go back and take part in another one. And that law must be unambiguous. That is one. Secondly, if I contested the primary election against someone, that person defeated me, I came second. Why should someone now who was not part of that primary election that I lost now come in to replace the person who defeated me? If the person who defeated me is not interested in the ticket anymore, then it should go to me that I came second. So I'm happy because the law says that if you want to withdraw, you must personally deliver a letter to that effect. All of this have been happening because party leaders had been used to substituting those who didn't win primary elections with those who did not even take part. So those governors and other people contested, and Lawan and Co. contested for the presidential ticket. They lost it, and they thought they could go back and clinch a ticket somewhere, and they were not part of the election. What INEC has always said is that it only recognizes primary elections that is supervised. And the primary elections that INEC supervised, those fellows did not take part in them. And if the person won one of those primary elections, for example, decides that he's not interested, he has to officially write a letter, and a fresh one has to now take place. That was what happened in Bauchi. Once the so-called placeholder said he was no longer interested, a fresh primary election was conducted, and the governor of Bauchi State won it. But in the case of Lawan, there is no evidence that Lawan took part in a fresh primary election. Or that even the primary election that they held was supervised by the INEC. So INEC is saying that the law permits it to only recognize the primary election that it took part in. It amounts to disrespect to the voter, that the voter elected a particular person. Some people will now come from nowhere and then ditch the choice of the voters and replace the choice of the voters with someone else. I mean, this nonsense has to stop. It has to stop. And until examples are made of individuals like Lawan and the rest of them, it will not stop. This was what Okorocha did some years back. His in-law held the place for him and he came back and took that ticket. I mean, Nigerian politicians are evil geniuses.
Right.
Because
Absolutely.
what is unheard of in other lands, they keep doing it. You keep seeing them doing what is unheard of, what nobody will even contemplate in other countries. You keep seeing Nigerian politicians do it. Sharing money in broad daylight. They believe that everyone has a price. Now the man in Yobe has shown that he does not have a price. He has decided to stand firm against even entreaties made by the leadership of the party. That is the right thing. It was the one that the people voted for. And INEC in their document says that he scored 280 votes out of 300. That means he was validly elected. INEC has said this is not the final list. Yeah. But we expect INEC to behave like a true independent electoral body by not altering that list at any point.
Absolutely, BK.
Because if you are saying this is not the final, so we should not come back maybe after a few months and hear that that list has changed. If it changes, then we will know that INEC is not independent.